Hey guys, welcome to Shambhala Gardens. Today I've been working on controlling my weeds. I'm about to go on vacation. I'm going to be away from the garden for about a week, and I have a serious weed issue, and I'm kind of scared that if I don't really get it under control before I leave, that it's going to be pandemic by the time I get back. There's really only one weed growing in my garden right now. Maybe a little lamb's quarter, but the dominant weed is chamber bitter, and I hope you don't have a weed. I hope you don't have this weed, and I hope you don't have a weed as bad as chamber bitter. It's just the worst weed I've ever seen. It would make an excellent cover crop if it didn't seed so aggressively, because it goes to seed almost immediately after germinating, and it seeds prolifically and aggressively. So last year the weather was so bad I couldn't get out here and tend my garden enough, so it went to seed over and over and over again, and so God knows if I'll ever be able to get caught up again, but I'm certainly doing my best. So I've got several methods that I deal with weeds here. The first I've talked with before. This is my cover crop of, this is purple whole peas. I've also got some buckwheat over here. Purple whole peas are just really beautiful though. I mean, just tons of biomass, smothering the entire bed. This is actually 2 beds. And fixing nitrogen in the soil, so it's self-fertilizing and just doing everything you want in a cover crop. The chamber bitter is down there, but it's really stunted. It can't get any sunlight. So where I can't grow cover crops, like say in my pepper bed here, I have a thick mulch of grass clippings. And grass clippings I've found are the only mulch that will stop the chamber bitter. In my asparagus bed here, I have a thick mulch of cypress, and it's growing right through it. So over here in this bed as well, I have some wood chips, the last of the wood chips that were dropped off by the tree company. I didn't get any wood chips this year, so I've used all that up, but it's growing right through this too. So grass, when it gets wet, it kind of almost like glues itself together and forms a mat. If you've ever put it in your compost pile, when you turn it the first time, you might notice that the grass is still like clumpy and gooey. So that's what I'm looking for, because it's just going to smother the ground and not let them grow. So today, all my compost piles are working and they're not ready to be turned. I'm not ready to make new compost, but my grass still needs to be mowed. It's growing really well right now. So I've mowed the grass and I am mulching the pathways with grass. It's the only way that I can control it. So grass clippings does really well in that respect. I'm just mowing a little bit every day and moving the grass clippings along the pathways. Another thing that I'm doing, which is not exactly a biointensive method, it's more of a market gardening method, is tarping. This is known as a stale seed bedding technique. And basically what you do is you prep the bed as you would, you're about to plant it, and you get it all worked in, make it look nice and pretty, soak it down with water, encourage the weeds to germinate, then you put a tarp over it, smother them out. So this tarp I just put down yesterday, supposedly it's 100% UV resistant, so we'll see what happens in a month or 2 when I take it off. This blue tarp over here, this is actually 2 tarps. I have to double tarp it. I bought this at Home Depot. Don't buy the one at Home Depot, it doesn't work. Even double tarped, the weeds still find a way to grow underneath there. There's just, I guess, just a hint of ambient light getting through there, and when I pull the tarp up, there's still weeds. So those are the methods I use to control the weeds. Oh, and then, of course, if all else fails, I have a lot of pathways here that are still bare soil. I'll use a stirrup hoe just to break up the weeds and disrupt their growth. And these regenerative growing systems like biointensive, permaculture, back to Eden, those sorts of things, you're working with nature, not against them. And weeds have a function in nature. Nature doesn't like her soil to be bare, and when you uncover it, the weeds move in to protect the soil, because when you expose the soil, the sun beats down on it, it dries it out, and then the wind and the rain come along and erode all the nutrients out of it, which is especially not good in your garden, and especially not good for the environment because we're losing so much topsoil to industrial farming. So always want to keep your soil covered in some way so that you're working with nature, not against it. The last thing you should ever be doing is being on your hands and knees pulling weeds. It's just a complete waste of time. It's counterproductive. And there's just better, more friendly, regenerative ways to deal with that sort of thing. All right, please click like and subscribe on this video, and I will talk to you again very soon. Thanks.